What's up, guys? It's Quintessential Q coming at you today with a Godfall build video. This is for dual blades, but luckily this build can be adapted for all five of the weapon types, not just dual blades. I kind of focus more so on dual blades because they're my main weapon of choice, but you can tweak some things around with this build and pretty much get the exact same results, if not like probably slightly better or slightly worse depending on what you have available. But let's get into it. Just a disclaimer, don't need Armistice for this build. The only reason why I'm rocking Armistice is because it can hold the most red augment slots, which you will see later in the build, which is just nice. But a very close second, and probably maybe even slightly better than Armistice just for dual blades, would be Greyhawk. You can fit 6 red augments in Greyhawk and put like whatever else that you deem necessary. But as you see over here on the right, we have 3,799 might, 1804 spirit, and 1,569 vitality. Our crit hit chance is 46%, which is pretty fucking high, especially when you take in consideration that we're not using the Hinterclaw Valorplate. 304 crit hit damage, which is definitely insane, and weak point damage is 169%. Ailment chances are only at 8% because we spec into the ailment tree, and the 15% that you see on shock is because something on me is rolled for shock chance. But getting on into the build, we have Storm Flares. Storm Flares is probably one of the better dual blades to rock with this build, but it really works with whatever. You can use whatever fucking dual blades you want and get the exact same results. Just the Storm Flares passive is just pretty fucking good for dual blades. While an inner focus is active, apply soul shatter build up to nearby enemies and all attacks deal soul shatter damage. That means when you proc inner focus, you have this aura around you, and while that aura is active, it just passively builds up soul shatter for whoever is within that aura's radius, and your lights can now proc soul shatter damage without you needing to use your southern technique or a heavy to proc the soul shatter. Dark Star Crusher is just here for solo stuff. When I'm not soloing, I just swap them out for another pair of dual blades. Like, I just swap them for whatever other set of dual blades I want to use. But it's just here for solo content. We know what this does. This is the hammer with the time bubble that slows enemies, so you could just wail on things that are inside the bubble. Not really here. We don't really use it to fight. Sometimes we switch to it just to take care of shield enemies, because for dual blades, shield enemies are very annoying, so sometimes we swap to the hammer just to build up the breach damage for that. But other than that, it just really here for the time bubble. Moving on to the amulet, we do have Mark of the Duelist. Restore 86 health whenever you perform a critical hit. This is just for the little bit of sustain that we have in the build, just in case, because inevitably, right, you're going to get hit, you're going to get tagged by something. So especially if you're out of life stones, this just helps to maintain your health until maybe you can kill a couple of enemies for more life stones or what have you. Lunar Token. Lunar Token is a uncommon, and Mark of the Duelist is a rare, by the way. Lunar Token is an uncommon that we leveled up all the way to a legendary. Its primary is simple, sweet, to the point. 9% critical hit chance. Luckily, we did get 2 rolls for critical hit chance, so we're getting 20% critical hit chance just from Lunar Token alone. I know a lot of people like to rock Ash Meteorite or Lion's Talisman here, and while those are really good, don't get me wrong, those are really good charms to rock here. Me personally, I'm just more so like I want my charm to just give me stats. So the 9% critical hit chance right here is just really good. And even if you were to get double crit hit chance rolls on the other two, you can only get to like what, maybe 11, 12% at best. And we're at 20% with Lunar Token. So moving on, we got the Adamantite band. Whenever you parry an enemy, gain 30% weapon technique charge speed for 10 seconds, and your next weapon technique attack does 33% more damage. That 33% more damage does apply for the entire duration of Inner Focus. If you're a Dual Blades player, this does apply for the entire duration, just so you know, as well as the weapon technique damage rolls that we have down there at the bottom. That applies to the entire duration of Inner Focus, which is lovely. Dreamer's Band, moving on, we got 26% weapon technique charge speed for 10 seconds whenever you parry an enemy. Luckily, we got dual blades damage and weapon technique damage as the secondary rolls, so that's cool. But I didn't really care about that. The weapon technique damage roll is really nice though. The dual blades damage rolls is kind of nice for when you inevitably have that downtime out of Inner Focus, so it is what it is. Still a pretty good roll. These last two items, everyone for the most part knows what they do. They're pretty much best in slot for the things that they do. Archon's tier, 39% crit hit chance, 144% critical hit damage. We have 2 critical hit chance rolls down there at the bottom. So this is just, like I said, it's pretty much best in slot for what it does. Like, just for proccing this, you get a bunch of critical hit chance and critical hit damage for free 99. I guess it's not entirely free. You had to get hit for it to take the Lifestone, but you get what I'm saying. Mace's Banderdole, which is for the free 99, because you start out with a banner. You get 24 crit hit chance and 63% critical hit damage. We got 2 critical hit chance rolls on this as well, so boom, there you go. Moving on to the star of the show of the build, though. When it comes to the build, we got Surety. Whenever you hit an enemy with your Northern technique, expose enemy weak points and deal 96% weak point damage the next time you hit a weak point. This is lovely for a multitude of reasons, right? This is beautiful for a multitude of reasons. And this is where, like, the build really pops off. Like, your build, like, out of all augments, this is the #1 important augment for dual blades. #1, to the point where I feel like this low-key was meant for dual blades. So, the ability to see weak points with the Surety augment applies during the entire duration of Inner Focus. So when you pop Inner Focus and you hit an enemy once, you basically activated the Sharingan. You see weak points for the entire duration of Inner Focus, and you can just constantly just hit weak point, hit weak point, hit weak point, hit weak point. And if it's like a mini boss, like one of the mini bosses, you basically stun lock them in place until they die. A couple of the mini bosses kind of do some bullshit where they can kind of like stop you from stunning them, like the big knight guy with the hammer like explodes himself with fire, and he can do the explosion even though he's being currently stunned in place. So there's niche situations like that, but for everybody else, they just get stun locked in place and just die. And since you spec into the weak point tree, which you will see when we get to skills, you also do a shockwave behind that enemy that you're stun locking in place that can spread to the other enemies and basically kill them. The double mini boss that has like the guy that throws the shurikens at you and the other big rampaging big bulky guy, yeah, you can one-shot both of them by just attacking one. Usually I go for the dude that throws the shurikens just because he moves a lot. And plus the big berserker dude's going to move towards wherever you are anyway. So you just move to them, pop your weapon technique. Like, of course, you have to build it up a little bit. pop weapon technique, boom, and just aim for the weak point on that guy. Disclaimer, it's his head. So just aim for his head and just you let the shockwave take care of the big guy. The shockwaves are gonna down the big guy. It's free, for free. This is the star of the show when I can't explain to you enough how good this augment is when it comes to a dual blades build. Just irreplaceable. Not as much as star of the show, but still pretty good. Carnage, 3% critical hit damage for every 20 seconds, for every 20 might, on adjacent augments. Due to the current setup, we have 57%. That's cool. Twilight Bloom, another star of the show, 90% weapon technique damage if at least 2 adjacent augments are red. I'll say you probably want Twilight's Bloom over Carnage if you can't fit both, just because, I'm sorry, 90% weapon tech damage? That's just too good, especially if you get a weapon tech damage roll on top of it. I wish I would have got double weapon tech damage rolls on it, just because that would be absurd, but it is what it is. Polarity attack's not terrible. Spark, this is just for weapon tech charge speed. Whenever we hit a weak point, we get 22% weapon tech charge speed. Cool. Double weapon tech damage rolls make it even more lovely because we're really focusing on that inner focus damage. Paradise, again, something for weapon tech charge speed, 22% every time for 10 seconds every time we get a crit. Since this is also a crit focus build, boom. Dual blaze damage, weapon technique damage are the rolls. Lovely. You'll love to see it. You'll love to see it. Moving on down to Godspeed, and that is not Godspeed, that is Twilight Bloom. I said down. Thank you. Moving down to Godspeed, 21% technique charge speed for 10 seconds whenever you parry enemy. This does also stack with the 2 rings, so when you parry enemy, you have absurd amount of weapon technique charge speed. Rolls on that really don't matter. I just haven't found a better one to replace it with yet, so you know. Frostfire, plus 32% critical hit damage during Rampage, has double weapon tech damage rolls, which is beautiful. And last but not least, well, actually it is last and least, is Force of Nature. If you can't fit 7 augments, which not every Valorplate is going to be able to fit 7 augments, I think Armistice is the only one that can fit 7 red augments, just drop Force of Nature, actually. Gaining 5% weapon technique charge whenever you defeat an enemy is cool, and we do have it for weak point damage and weapon technique damage, which is also cool, but it's whatever. It's honestly whatever. You can drop this and put anything else here. If you drop this, you can go for the blue augment and put in the augment called Black Seed. Black Seed gives you shield charge every time you kill someone with your weapon technique. So that may be even a little bit more beneficial if you feel like you have enough weapon tech charge speed as is and don't need any more. When it comes to skills, skill tree pretty basic. The main things here to focus is weapon technique, might, rampage, all stats, finesse just for the parry windows, weak points, and spirit. Oh, and of course soul shatter and critical hit damage and crit hit chance. Vitality is just here just so we can have the extra health. All stats kind of help vitality as well as the other 2 stats just be higher. And pretty much this is all you need. You really don't need any more than this. I don't have all the merits, so I don't have all the skill points that I could have, but even if I did, I don't care. Maybe put 1 point in the shield throw just for the arcing shield throw, and that'd be about it. But I really don't need anything else here. Maybe just smacking polarity damage just for when, you know, we're doing dual blade 1 trick shenanigans. But other than that, that is the build. Like I said, it can pretty much work on all Valor plates except for a few, the weak point damage one being one of the ones it does not work with. But that'll be the build. I'm Quintessential Q. You can catch me over at twitch.tv/quintessentialq. I stream pretty much every day from 8 or 9 p.m. to whenever the fuck I feel like getting off, which is usually 1 or 2 in the morning. And that's about it. I will come with you with another video. That will probably be a discussion video. But I'll catch y'all on the next one. Deuces.